PJNet.TV is on the air. It's 9:30 on the East Coast. It's Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month, and that means it's time for Dell Didway, who is standing by in our green room. Our bumper's running, we are streaming, we are recording, our chat room's waiting. We're ready to start a countdown to Studio 33 Alpha, starting now. Well, good evening and welcome, or welcome back, as the case may be, for Phase 2, Part 2, the latter half, the second half of PJNet.TV tonight. This Tuesday, April 5th, is when this is produced live, and if you're watching it after that, well, that's when it happened. It's still good stuff, because Dell Didway comes our way on the first and third Tuesdays of every month, and he is standing by, and I am told that tonight will be a night of many announcements that Dell's going to uncork. But the first announcement is that he has proclaimed, it is now official, that Tuesday is the best day to buy airplane tickets. Yes. Now, Dell, I have traveled extensively. I have never heard that from anybody, but you're the man.
Well, it's the best time to buy them. I don't necessarily buy them on Tuesdays, but that's the lowest fares typically are on Tuesdays. So
okay.
I wish I could, because people aren't traveling as much on Tuesdays.
Okay. Well, I'll keep that in mind if I ever fly again. Last time I flew myself in a little Cherokee 180.
Yeah, really.
Folks, sports shorts is among many of Dell's accomplishments, but we keep featuring it because it just keeps going to number one.
Yeah, again today, and this isn't bragging. I'm very happy about this. This is the third or fourth time it's hit number one in this category, and since its launch a couple of weeks ago. So that's exciting news. We appreciate folks jumping on board, writing reviews. We're always wanting reviews. Everybody wants reviews, and you got to be careful on Amazon, because they'll kick it off if they think you're a friend. So I know Doug's had that problem in the past, and Ben sent me a note saying he's permanently banned from Amazon. So,
yeah, because his pastor wrote a book review.
Yeah. So he's in the Amazon jail or whatever.
The game is rigged, sir.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, we're very, very pleased with that. We're getting good reports about it. I've never had a number one this many times, so it's kind of cool.
I really like it, because what it does is put some top spin on your ministry. You were getting these interviews with all these people. You did the legwork, and this is a whole new world that opened up just by kind of stirring the pot a little bit.
Yeah, well, some input from some of my colleagues. I think it was one of Michelle's ideas to do it, and she ended up writing it forward for me. Michelle Medlock-Adams, so I appreciate her advice and input and excitement on that, and Kyle was on board with it, so we were able to pitch it, and they liked it.
And okay, so but that's not your only work. You've got some other works out right now.
Yeah,
which are the most recent ones?
Well, we just got the covers unofficially this week for our Florida and Florida State devotionals, which will be out later this fall. We don't have a date yet. Normally, we'll probably have a date here within a month or so.
Yeah,
but it'll be sometime during the season, probably mid-season.
Oh, okay.
October-ish, something like that. So we got the covers. They look great. I did the Florida one, and then we had a trifecta with Andy Clapp and Bethany Jett and I all teamed up to do the Florida State. Because Bethany went there, and Andy was begging us, so we let him.
Okay. Obviously, Michigan and Ohio State, you've got ties to both.
Yeah.
That is a huge, huge rivalry. I would have to put it at the top of the list. But there are others, Florida State. Honestly, if I had to pick number one, I'd pick Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah, I think it's tied. I think it's probably as much as a grudge match as Ohio State, Michigan, and not being biased towards Ohio State. I just look at the coverage and the history of both of them. The Iron Bowl and then the Ohio State Michigan rivalry is
Yeah. Ohio Michigan State, I think, has the traditions.
yeah.
The dotting of the I of the band, and but
Michigan
what are
losing, yeah.
again?
Not this year though, yeah.
So what are some other? I mean, if you keep this up, you could go tap into some other rivalries. Have you given that
Oh, we
any
are.
thought?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've got several down the pike where we're talking to some publishers about. So we're just going to keep a. We're supposed to communicate this week on hopefully what we'll do next, and so some of them want to keep in the SEC, and some of some want to go elsewhere. But I think SEC football, Big Ten football, I think those are the two biggest conferences as far as football goes. That's just my opinion on that. But yeah, we've got some other. We're going to talk to them. In fact, I was on the phone with a different publisher today about um, uh, talking about a book. So we've got some good things in the works. Hopefully, a couple of them will transpire. We've got talking to a colleague about a joint proposal for a book. We're excited about. We're working on that proposal back this week to try to get it together to get it to. We feel it's a pretty nice publisher, and we're working with Kyle on that. And so good things are happening. I had a great week for a client of mine. Had a great contract extended to her, and we're excited about that. So some fun things have been going on. So I've got right now 4 book ideas for me, which I hope they transpire in the next few weeks.
Well, you need something to do.
Yeah, and so as of right now, I just got the 2 coming out in the fall. I had the one that have 3 this year, and hopefully a couple next year. So we always got to be looking ahead on that. But we're happy right now. We're focusing on sports shorts, and it's off to a great start. And we just got to. Yeah, I don't know why Amazon puts so much pressure on those reviews, but if you get to a certain point, then they start giving you free ads. So that's the point of reviews
Mm.
on Amazon for authors. That's why they want to hit that magic number. And once they get that number, then Amazon can, and for the most part, they do throw some free ads up for you if you hit that mark. So that's always a good thing to do. So it's not just for ego and things like that. It's to help your book. So
Hmm.
reviews are important. And we try to do them for folks. If I don't remember, just remind me. I get asked a lot. So and I try to and I do them all. It's just I don't do them all like right away. So if you've asked me to do one, please remind me.
Well, the same principle applies to social media, and you have discussed this at some length, and this is something that actually comes up in writing conferences. Is you need to build each other up because it's not you've got to guard against, but it's not about self-aggrandizement. What it's about is algorithms.
Well, you want to promote people as well, and you want to lift them up. I try my best. I don't do as good a job as I should, but I try to at least share somebody's different at least once or twice a day, and don't always hit that goal, but I aspire to that. If I see a blog out there, for example, of JD, I on Facebook or Twitter, I will retweet it or share it. If I don't see it, I'm not ignoring it. I just don't see it. So when I see them, I share them because I think they're obviously for the first thing they're good messages and they need to be shared. So and if I don't do it for this reason, but I hope eventually that I do it a few times. Hope that they'll see mine and do it. It's just
Mhm.
it's a team sport, right? It's a team participation.
Well, back in the old Twitter days,
Yeah,
when I was the guru of hashtaggery,
yeah.
people would ask me, and I'll ask you, what causes retweets?
What causes retweets?
Yeah, I actually know the answer.
I don't know. What causes retweets? I just
Re-
retweet them.
retweets.
Right. Yeah, you retweet. Yeah, everybody retweets them.
Retweets cause retweets,
Yeah. Right.
folks. And,
Yep.
I know that sounds so overly simplified, but it cannot be emphasized enough. It's one
Right.
thing. It's good to like it or whatever, but it's when you share it,
Yeah.
it reaches
Yeah.
it reaches new eyeballs. that it never
Yeah,
saw before.
and so I try to do that again at least twice a day, sometimes three if I really like it. But because the last thing I want to see is the same person's Twitter page on the same thing, and they're not sharing anything. So again, I'll do as much as I could, but I do it try to do it when I can. And good news on the Twitter end, if you've been following that news today and yesterday about Elon Musk, will be on the board of Twitter, and he's bought up I think 10% of the shares. And all the Twitter, there's a lot of Twitter's been active the last couple of days. People who work for Twitter are saying they're quitting, which is
Hmm.
great.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, because they're going to put him on the board, and one of the first things he said is, "We're going to reinstate Trump," because you got President Putin is on Twitter.
Yeah.
Who's yeah? You have oh my gosh, I know who this person is. The president of North Korea. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Kim Jong. Well, they don't
Yeah,
even have internet over there,
yeah.
do they?
And so all these other folks are on Twitter, but Trump is not because he offends people with his mean tweets. Give me his mean tweets and his low gas prices any day.
Right.
So yeah,
Good.
but so Elon Musk is going to get in a big stage on Twitter. So that's awesome.
That is, well, the fact that so many people are outraged is
Yeah,
not only gives us hope, but
yeah,
it tells you how rooted the problem was.
yeah,
That the mere presence of a different point of view,
yeah.
they become indignant.
He's saying that he's not for Trump; he is for free speech. And there seems all the rats are jumping ship. So
It's like
it's
when you
crazy.
turn on the light and the cockroaches go
Yeah,
running.
Gawker's scattering. Yeah, so Musk is coming to Twitter, and there's a big mass exodus. I think it's great.
Dell, you've mentioned it before, but you and a team of others.
Hmm?
You needed, apparently all of you were not busy enough and decided to get together and produce a podcast. And you've recorded how many already?
I can't count it a lot, and I didn't do it. I've been asked to participate. So, and again, thanks for bringing that up. I think it launched. I'm not sure it's today or it's this week. I should know this. I'm on it, but I'm not over in charge of it. I'm just a talking head. So, it's called The Seven, and it's a podcast that's going to be on Charisma House, their platform, which is huge. And Kyle and Bethany and Michelle, Kyle Young, Bethany Jet, Michelle Medlock Adams, myself, Andy Clapp, Julie Lavender, and Britt Mooney are all on this podcast. We're not all on at the same time. We rotate. There's a host with three guests, and we rotate these guests on different shows and different topics. If I'm not on the show that particular episode, there's two of us, two or three of us sitting back, either timing, taping, or directing. So we're all involved at the same time. So it's a lot of fun. We did the shows last. We taped them last week for Easter. We did one on the Passover. We did one on and they're all based on seven things, like 7 points of view, since there's seven of us.
Hmm.
And so we go on 7 bullet points, like what's the most riveting things, the 7 most important things from Jesus' death, and the 7 most important things from his resurrection. And it's not all about writing. We do give a lot of writing tips. Like mine was, what's the 7 things about nonfiction? So we jazz it up a little bit, a lot of different topics.
That's an interesting mix of personalities. The Michelle, Bethany, and Kyle, and you to some extent. I get that. I get
Mhm.
that. But Julie Lavender,
And Julie's just a walking wealth of encouragement.
well,
I
and
mean,
she's a Georgia peach.
she's just awesome. She can make an eyeglass case inspiring. So she has this ability just to make you feel good just when she opens her mouth. So, and Britt's obviously a pastor. Andy's a pastor, so they give great biblical advice and perspective there.
Yeah. Folks, Dell would never call attention to himself, but you have some new frames for your glasses.
I do. Thank you. These are awesome. They're from the Eyes of Faith brand, which actually the owner is a good friend of mine. Lives up in Youngstown, Ohio, and his business is booming. They're the only faith-based eyewear. There's scripture in here and on them, and they got a whole bunch of frames. So that's what these are, the eyes of faith. So, and they have sunglasses out now too. So we were able to go to our doctor, our eye doctor, and I called Jim. I said, "Hey, I like these frames." He said, "I'll send them down," and I had them in 2 days, and we got them in there. So check them out. Eyes of Faith are out of Youngstown, Ohio.
That's a new one on me. I
Yeah, they're
guess
doing
it,
really well. In fact, we were down at the NRB. They were there, and they got on the Todd Starnes show. And Todd actually has the same lenses I have. They're my older Eyes of Faith lenses, and we didn't even realize it until we noticed it one day. We were talking to each other, and I'm like, "Those are great. Hey, those are my glasses." He's like, "Well, these are my glasses," and it's the same. It's the same one. This is my first Eyes of Faith brand frames, so we like them.
you and
So if
Todd
you have glasses,
Starnes
check
have
them out.
something
Eyes
in
of Faith.
common. See, that's
The same
yeah,
frames. I know.
yeah. Don't get together and both of you take your glasses off and set them down because you'll
I
you'll
know.
you'll pick up the wrong glasses.
I don't know if he still has those, but we were up in New York when we were in his office with Michelle and
Hmm.
Bethany, and I kept looking at his. I said, "Todd, and I took mine off and said, these are the same frames." And he goes, "Oh my gosh, they are." So it was hilarious.
Oh, that's such an ordeal normally, but because
Yeah,
I until about what a year ago, I was using readers, $15, down
yeah,
at
Walmart.
CVS, Walmart, whatever. But they were increasingly not working.
No,
Actually, the glasses weren't the problem, but I went to an what do you call those, eye doctor, optometrist.
optometrist. Yeah.
Yeah, and but the selection of frames is an ordeal. Men don't like to shop anyway.
No, there's a lot of them there.
Yeah, and I don't think there's that much difference. Now there are some technical specificity
Hmm.
considerations. If you want progressive lenses, the lenses have to be big enough, to do
Right.
that. But the frames I picked out, because and frankly I picked them out because they were the most comfortable.
Hmm.
The bridge, that little thing on your nose,
Yeah.
and they just felt lighter. Well, wouldn't you know, these frames are from Italy, and they had to ship them in, and oh boy, you know.
No, you don't want that.
So I'm wearing some fine Italian. It must be fancy in
Yeah.
any event. So now
Well.
the podcast that you mentioned,
Uh
you're
huh.
you're taping them well in advance and producing them. Are these going to be weekly or what's the schedule?
I think so. I can't tell you. I don't know. I think they're weekly because we were doing like two or three a week. Um,
Hmm.
I believe they're weekly. I should know this, but I don't. Okay. I'm just on it and I contribute. And we're doing giveaways. We're writing articles for them. We're writing chapters for a potential book for it. So it's a one great big project, but it's a lot of fun. Because anytime you get all those, our people that we do life together with, it's just fun. We try to set a time limit on it, but we typically go over it, especially if a couple of certain people are talking. They talk a lot, so we have to. That's whoever who's directing has to say move on or go to such and such, or
Hmm.
all right, you're beating this dead horse enough. Let's move on to another topic, stuff like that. So because it's fun, we get on topics and they're fun topics, and we don't want to get off of them.
Dell, I'm still waiting on the big announcement, and is it still classified?
No, it's not classified anymore, but it is official. So I wanted to wait till it was official. But yeah, last what the 20? What was the last week? The 28th, wasn't it? 29th.
Something
What was
like
last
that.
week? Yeah. So last Monday, I started a full time position with the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, which I'm thrilled to be a part of. I am the regional manager for the East Territory, which includes Ohio, Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, like over to Pittsburgh and so forth, West Virginia, Kentucky. And so I can work out of my house, and I'll be going and visiting with donors over hopefully the next 10 years and retiring. But yeah, it was an awesome, happened really quickly, happened really fast. We had a reason to apply for this position and put in and contact a couple folks who know who work there or who I know there, and just happened. They just, in fact, I was out at the Super Bowl when I was contacted, and they said, "Hey, we'd like to talk to you." And I said, "Well, I'm in Los Angeles. I'll be I'll be in North Carolina here in a couple of days." And they said, "Well, no, we're going to be in West Virginia in Huntington." I said, well, "Let's meet Wednesday," because it was close to me. So we flew to North Carolina for the CPA show, CPE show, sorry, the CPE show. Then drove back home, and then drove to Huntington, West Virginia, met with these folks. Then they flew me and Angie down to Charlotte, North Carolina. They went back to Charlotte. Um, they took us out to dinner one evening. Roy Graham, who's the son of Franklin Graham, took us out to dinner and wanted to get to know us. And then we spent the next day, literally all day, being interviewed by a lot of people. I mean, it's like a gauntlet. It was every hour a new person that we had to go sit and chat with. And then we went home, and a couple of days later, they called us and said, "We'd love to have you." So that's an exciting opportunity for me. I've had to actually, I'm blessed for this opportunity because I'm going to be paid to minister to people. And um, so as a consequence, there's some things I'm going to be giving up, which, which I love doing, but like I've already resigned a couple of boards I'm on uh, that I've participated in for a long time, but time wise, because I'm going to be gone a week and home a week, gone a week, home a week, things like that. So this week I'm home in my home office here. Next week I'm going to be on the road and getting some events. We have some really exciting events already planned. Like Franklin Graham's doing a God Loves You tour, and one of the stops will be Youngstown, Ohio. And so we have to go up there and try to line up some folks and assist in that event here in the fall. So we're excited about that.
Tell us about that day you spent in what you called the gauntlet. There, he's got two things that impressed me. One, the organization of people, but just the facilities. Uh,
Yeah, that headquarters. I've been to a lot of good headquarters. I mean, I've worked for some major pharmaceutical companies, and I've been to their headquarters, their Ohio headquarters, or Ohio headquarters, their uh, national headquarters, and those are impressive. Those are really nice. But the BGEA headquarters in Charlotte, it's close to the. If you've been to the library and take a tour of that, it's on the same grounds, but it's kind of hidden back a little bit. But it is a incredibly sophisticated building, kind of hidden. You really don't see a sign that tells you where you're at because I think that's intentional. Um, but just it's state of the art. The boardroom it's 4 floors. It's got their media room was just something that was just amazing. Where they
that
shoot all
sounds
the
like a
commercials.
candy store for this kid.
Yeah, where they shoot their commercials and do all their tapings and just high tech equipment. Their war room where they were planning. They have a whole promotions floor to get ready for the tours. So a very high level, high energy. Everybody we met there was wonderful and very hospitable with us.
Tell me about some of the, you were grilled by what, 10, 12 different people? Tell me about some of
Yeah.
those encounters.
Well, a lot of them were there. They were just wanting to get to know us and wanted to get to know me and Angie a lot, and just talking about our vision. A lot of them told us what they did, and some of the Angie wanted to talk a lot about. I won't call them old timers, but who were actually with Billy Graham on some of his crusades, and because Angie went to one of them up in Columbus, Ohio, several years back. So she said she never got to see Billy Graham, even though she could hear him, but she could not see him because they were so far back. So just what it was like to be there, and so they talked a lot about those days and what it is now, and they just wanted to get to know us, and if we were a good fit for the team, and it was good. It wasn't anything intense, even though there were a couple of conversations that they just wanted some answers to things, which were fine. They were just great. They were loving people who want to make sure they have the right person, and so we appreciated that. Roy Graham is a nice man, kind of I'll say different to read, but um, hard to really get to know until you sit down with him. But they just want to make sure that you're a good fit. And so they're not testing you or anything like that, but they're asking some questions that can hit home. But that's fine. We were able to answer them well.
Well, Dale, you're quite comfortable, behind a microphone and addressing audiences and communicating.
Mhm.
You're a communicator, but I would never advise someone to pick a time for an important interview between the Super Bowl, CPE, a writing conference.
I know.
I mean, had you had any sleep?
Oh man, very very little, but I do well that way. Actually, I got up. We got home from Charlotte. Angie and I did. I'm gonna say 10ish, line 9 or 10ish that night. That was on a Tuesday night. We got home, and I had to meet him in Huntington, West Virginia, like at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is about an hour away.
Hmm.
So, but no, I
That's not
got
bad.
not too bad. So I got up, rather went to bed late, got up early, but that's nothing unusual for me. So yeah, it was a fast and furious few days, and then
Well,
we
it's
went there. So
it's staggering the opportunity that has come your way, but
yeah.
being able to work based from home, but you will be on the road.
Oh yeah, I'll be on the road every other week, which the furthest point's going to be probably Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 5 hours away. It's not too bad. Well, Paducah, Kentucky, or something like that. It's about 5 or 6 hours away as well. So um, won't be too far away. But
They'll put you to work with some other stuff too. I bet
yes,
Um,
already getting my email box is already full of things I have to do. But and I understand this. It's a lot of paperwork and paper trail because as they explained to us in great detail, they're frequently audited.
mhm.
So we have to make sure everything's you know to the extent over exaggerated when your expenses and things like that. So
Yeah, and when you're on the road, it's easy to fall into a complacency. I'll call it.
yeah, yeah.
Some people abuse these kinds of things, which is why they audit them. Because
Yeah, we have certain standards, certain limits, and so we're adhere strictly to those. But so next week I'll be up in Youngstown, the Pittsburgh area. Next week, trying to set. We have a dinner coming up already in May. We have to get that planned. So it's just gonna be a lot of fun. It looks like it's a lot. It's one of the things we noticed, or I noticed when we were down there. Everybody we met had like this 20-year trophy on their desk or plaque or something.
Mhm.
And I was like, does everybody who work here? And they said nobody leaves.
Mm.
It's such a wonderful. I was like, as we were noticing that, like, my gosh, everybody has this plaque or these trophies because they never leave. So that says something about, and they employ a lot of people. That's a huge facility. I think I think it's 700 people work there in Charlotte. I think,
Really?
and they have people all over the world. So
Well, and a lot of different talents brought to the table.
yeah,
People you just you don't understand, or people don't
yeah,
understand. You do. What's under the hood is very complex. You look at the
yeah,
outside; it looks real shiny and polished, but the details behind the scenes are
hmm,
enormous, and you've got to bring different talents
yeah,
to the table, and with those different talents come different backgrounds, different personalities,
mhm,
and keeping a team like that together is not the easiest thing in the
no.
world to do.
And I think this is probably going to be the coolest thing I've ever done. So I'm really excited about it. I'll use my time when I travel to work on manuscripts, and so I have to. So when I come home for the week, I won't be doing. I'll shut it off for the week, and then when I go away, I'll start it back up here. So that's a lot of things I'm stepping away from. Are some of the boards I'm on. Like I said, I'm still going to cover the Bengals because that's on the weekends,
Mhm.
and they said that's fine. They said that's no big deal. And they said, well, what if there's an event on the same day as the game? I said, I'll go to the event. It's a no brainer. I said I just do that because I can and it's fun.
Mhm.
So I got to have some fun, right? And so I'm going to be stepping back from I think two of the boards I was on some other responsibilities. I'm going to step back. I'm going to not stop agenting, but I'm going to cut back a lot on those and um, transition some of my clients over
Yeah.
to another
Well,
agent who
that's
can.
only fair to the client, really.
Yeah, it is because I can't do it
Right.
well because I've got too many clients, and so I'm going to transition, and you'll be hearing about that probably pretty next few weeks. There's somebody that I'm talking to about that, and we'll transition some of those folks over because I don't want to see them left in the cold,
Yeah.
and we want to see them published. But like I won't be going to as many conferences, writing conferences now, which is still fine. I look at this as a great opportunity that's been made possible because of all the other things I've done in the past.
Right. And you're going to meet a whole new world of people that are
Yeah,
interesting, that you just don't know what God's going to do with that.
yeah, and my job is not going to be to ask for money, even though I'm in the donor relations ministry.
Hmm.
I was told specifically, do not, I will not ask for a dime from anybody.
Hmm.
So I will go and minister and thank them, visit with them, and see what they need.
Well, it's a real struggle because we face it here, and
Yeah.
any, is, to have, if you want to have an impact, there's tools you got to have.
Hmm.
We are competing in a market, and on the other team is some people that are very well funded, highly motivated, and very competent, and they don't mind spending money to
Yeah.
push their agenda.
Yeah.
We need to push ours, but we
Well,
have this sovereign God thing and
yeah.
prayer, and too many Christians lean on a shovel and pray that a hole would appear in front of that
Yeah.
shovel, and it doesn't work that way, folks.
Well, just to have the be associated with the name Billy Graham is
Wow.
completely humbling, and to have my name on his business card is just really remarkable. So,
I
but
think
as
I
high
think
as
they've I think they got the right guy.
well,
Um,
let's hope. So,
you know, but
well, I'm excited
Dell.
about it. It happened very quickly, so I'm
Well,
excited about it.
we've kept it under a lid for quite some time, and
Yeah,
Dell, as when
yeah,
you first told me, I said I'm happy for you, and the same is true today, and I know it will be true in the weeks and the months
yeah.
and even the years. Right? You probably got 20 good years left in you, don't you?
I tell you what, there was some folks there in their 80s,
Yeah,
so maybe I got 30 years
yeah,
left. Who knows?
yeah.
But
We'll have to remind Dell to put his teeth in, and
yeah, really. So I'll like if I'm on the road on the nights I have this, I'll be doing it from a Hampton Inn somewhere.
yeah,
But yeah,
we've done it under stranger circumstances. Remember that
yeah.
steakhouse? Remember that steakhouse?
Oh my God, in New York City, yeah, it was fun with Michelle and Kyle. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I guess I'm cutting back, but it's going to be because
Mhm.
it has to be that way, and I'm still going to do things, but not to the extent. I'll still do. Thank goodness we're taping this podcast like one day, which I can do that. So
Mhm. Mhm.
and like hypothetical, if I can't be on it, or there's last week Michelle couldn't be on it, so we got 6 other people.
Mhm.
So we just work. We just work. That's
I
why we have
think I
seven
think
people.
that was good planning. That's very good
Yeah,
planning.
so because we can't
Because
always be there.
well,
So
especially with volunteers, still. I mean, managing
yeah, really.
volunteers is like herding cats.
Yeah, I know.
It's
But everybody seems high up on it. Like Julie can't be there next week. I don't think we're taping next week. She can't be there.
I'm happy.
So
I'm so glad she's a part of that because
she's awesome.
she is just the sweetest. Well, she's a Georgia peach, and she's Southern. She's
Well, every time,
Southern.
like I said, every time you're around her, whether you're feeling bad or whatever, you always walk away feeling good.
Yeah.
And everybody, I mean, they're all that way. I mean, Bethany has a way of just cheering you up. Michelle has a way of wearing you out. No, I'm kidding. So stop kidding. I can
Uh,
say that. I can say that about
we've all
her.
experienced that. So
No,
anyway,
she's awesome. So we're talking about some things, some projects together too. So we're excited. A lot of things still going on.
all right.
So
Well, I don't know what you'll have next time we get together, but something.
well, something good.
But Dell, congratulations. We're
Well,
proud of
thanks.
you. It couldn't have happened to a better guy, and we appreciate you. Clearly, Dell, you're a very busy person, but you have so faithfully shared your time
Mhm.
and your experiences and your ministries and your books and your life here on the pjnet.tv screen. And we appreciate you and look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, my man.
Well, thanks for everybody for being out there. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Dell Didway, is that amazing or what? I mean, the chat room just exploded. And I kept waiting because he told me about this a while back. I couldn't say anything. And he said he had all these announcements. And here we were 20 minutes into the program. And I'm wondering, can he say it yet? I didn't want to put him on the spot. Anyway, folks, that's going to wrap it up for me tonight, or for PJNet tonight. Now, tomorrow night, I'm going to take a look. If you go to pjnet.tv, There's a button on there called Schedule. There's soon going to be a new button there. And Stephanie Pavlantos will be with us tomorrow night. And a special shout out to our producer, Miss Barbara, who is arranging so many awesome guests. Folks, there's so much I could go into. I know it's late, but I'll be up all night tonight. If you want to know more about that new button that's going to be on the main menu at the pjnet.tv website, it's going to say podcast, and it's not just that we're doing a podcast. We are a podcast platform, and we're going to be doing something that, as best I know, has never been done. Christian authors exclusively will be writing short stories derived from, in many cases, I'm sure, works they've already published, perhaps even years ago, and we are literally not just narrating them, but we're actually getting voices to do the individual parts, real human voices. So it's sort of and we've got sound effects going, you'll hear the birds chirping in the background, the car turning off, all those little things. It's almost like the old days of, after dinner, you'd go get around the radio. Remember your grandma or your father, parents talking about things like that. Wholesome material produced exclusively by Christian writers and authors. I'm excited about it, and I really hope that this will be an inspiration and a source of entertainment that's trusted, because some of the names that we have trusted, Disney comes to mind. Well, folks, we can produce stuff too. And we can do it. I've got to go. Before I leave, let me challenge you to ask yourself these two questions. What is the boldest thing that you've ever done in the kingdom of Christ? And how long ago was it when you did that? And let's hope and pray that we will never be satisfied with either answer.